Hello students, welcome back to the biology class. So far we have started the 6th chapter, that's the molecular basis of inheritance, and we have covered this much from the NCERT. We have covered the first page which talked about that what exactly should be the genetic material, either DNA or RNA should act like the genetic information material, and then how exactly it functions. Some introduction has been given on the first page. And this brought us to the topic, the DNA. So we have learned the various digits, the numerical values which are given here, and you are supposed to learn these digits from the NCERT itself. We have finished the structure of the polynucleotide chain, and we have learned how that the first phosphate develops only phosphoester bond, and all other phosphates develop phosphodiester bond, because you can see here there are two bonds developed by each phosphate except the first one. We learned about ATP, we learned about ATP cycle, who is the father of ATP cycle, and we learned some of the structures also, and then how the Watson and Crick double helical model in its explanation. So we have covered all these things as per the NCERT. This is the diagram which I asked you to draw even in the assignments also, and these diagrams some students have done already. We have finished the central dogma, and we have even covered the exceptions to the central dogma also, along with the packaging of the DNA, that is the topic of nucleosome, and how it happens in prokaryotes and how it happens in the case of the eukaryotes. Now this brings us to the new topic, and that topic is one more thing. NCERT has given 3 differences between 2 types of chromatin. So please start referring NCERT, because in the last assignments I have found students mentioning only 2 differences or just 1 difference, as if you are completely neglecting the NCERT book. So this brings us to the next topic, and that is the search of the genetic material. So from here we are going to start with the experiments, and then to understand which of the molecules exactly carry the properties to be called as genetic material. So there was a huge confusion among scientists whether it is the proteins or lipids. Some even said carbohydrates or the nucleic acid. That means again nucleic acid of 2 types, DNA and RNA. So it was very confusing and challenging for the scientists to zero down on what exactly is going to be the genetic material. So many experiments are there. In NCERT we have 3 experiments in this topic, and then 1 experiment in the replication topic. So we'll be learning these experiments now as per the NCERT. We will go after the experiments, we will start with the topic of the replication. So let's understand now what exactly is the genetic material. So how do you define genetic material? So genetic material is the medium through which the genetic information passes from parents to the cells. That means it passes from the parent cell to the daughter cells, or you can say it passes from one generation to the another generation. So genetic material can be any biomolecule which is able to convey the information as such. That means there should be ideally saying there should be no change in the information, and it should pass on from the parent cell to the daughter cells during binary fission or during the mitosis or meiosis. That means information should exactly be passed on as such without any change. Such a molecule can only be called as the genetic material. And then we can have one more definition of genetic material, that it should also be able to control the formation and expression of traits in the organism. If you remember traits of the Mendel topic, so whatever characters are there, those characters have various forms, and all those various forms of character are called as traits. So the expression of trait and formation of trait are also should be the property of the genetic material to be controlled. So now a lot of molecules will come into your brain also, like what exactly should be the genetic material. So that's why scientists came up with the criteria, and criteria means some of the rules or conditions. So these conditions are basically 5 conditions, and any molecule which is able to fulfill these 5 conditions or criteria is supposed to be considered as the genetic material. Or you can simply say that there are 5 properties of genetic material, and if any molecule, biomolecule, is able to pass through all these properties or contains all these properties or possess these properties, can be easily considered as the genetic material. So the first property for a biomolecule to act like the genetic material is that it should be present in every cell, and its amount should be same in all the somatic cells of the body. So the first property is it should be present in every cell. That means if there is a multicellular organism, then every cell of that organism should have that biomolecule, and its number, or you can say its amount, should be same in all the somatic cells. What are somatic cells? The normal body cells of the adult body would be called as the somatic cells. So the genetic material, a molecule can be called genetic material if it is present in every cell, and its amount should be same in all the body normal cells. Second property or second criteria for a molecule to act like a genetic material is it should be stable. Stability should be there, structural stability as well as the chemical stability. Now we all know that stability is very important because the genetic material stores the information, and that information has to remain similar and preserved and conserved and pass on from generation to generation. So this information carrying material should be structurally as well as chemically stable. Third property, that it should be able to generate its copies, or you can say it should be able to generate its copies or replica, and then faithfully pass on these copies to the next generation, or you can say faithfully pass it on to the progeny. Fourth property, it should show some amount of scope of changes. We all know information should pass on normally,